Hello, my name is Barry, and this is my bed. Do you have chronic bed rot? Welcome as we embark on Gypsy Rose Blanchard Life After Lockup, Season 2, Episode 9. I have been dying to tell you guys some tea. I went into my friend's TikTok. Hey JK, we were watching Bree's live from there. Bree had on like all these wigs and fake beards and stuff like that, and was doing these crazy skits. And my friend JK, I was like, what is she doing? Because I've never been in Bree's live before. And she's like, she imitates people who talk about Gypsy or make fun of Gypsy. And JK told me that she did me. I don't know if it was in a video or a live, but she had a blue wig and she did me. And I was like, well, what did she say? She's like, she didn't really say anything. She just kind of had the wig on, referenced you, and then went to the next one real quick. Guys, can you believe it? I'm on their radar. Hi, Gypsy. How are you today? Gypsy, since you're here, I want to give you a little fun fact about me. I one time defended you. Yep, I did. It was a long time ago, but it was actually before your crime. I live in Missouri, and I'm about 2 hours from where you committed your crime. You moved here to Missouri after Hurricane Katrina, and you got your second wish. People were in an uproar about this for some reason. I remember thinking, like, what? So what? She's the first person to get a second wish, and she chose to go to Disney World twice. Wasn't it something like that? I don't know. You can comment below. I don't remember the details. But there was a rumor going around my high school at the time you got your second wish that you could walk. Because somebody that I know is from Springfield, Missouri, and have family there. And the rumor was Gypsy Rose Blanchard could walk. Could you believe it? Yep. Said that's crazy to say someone would fake not being able to walk. How could you say that? I seriously stopped talking to this person because I thought that was insane that they would say that about somebody who couldn't walk. So I defended you, Gypsy. Lo and behold, the whole damn time you could walk. So ever since then, I've not been a Gypsy fan. If you can lie about that, then because I will say it again for the 100th millionth time in my life. If she wanted to, she could have just stood up. You did public speaking, right? You were going all around Missouri talking at the schools. You could have stood up at a public forum in front of everybody. You could have had so much control over your mom. Could you imagine? You could have put her in prison and said that she was abusing you the whole time. I mean, we all know it was probably a lie, but you still could have used it and put her in prison. Your life would be so much better. You would be the hero you think you are right now. That was the right choice to make. But you didn't do that. Violence is not the answer, and there are some people that actually believe that. Eye for an eye is not the answer. But does that even apply to you? Anyway, let's get this shit started. I'm done talking to you, even though I'll reference talking to you this whole video, because you're watching me. This episode opens up at Ken's house, and he's putting away some dishes, and he asks Gypsy what she's going to do, and she's going to try and do some yoga. Ew, he literally made that noise. Which she attempts to do and just complains the whole time. She's not comfortable. This requires a lot of balance. This lady's more flexible than I ever imagined. She ends up grunting and then just stops and asks what he wants to do today. So what do you want to do today? I can't do it anymore. I've lost my Gypsy voice. I didn't care for you. I lost it. Ken says he wants to go to the grocery store because he wants to see what new food creations there are, or what he hasn't thought about already that he needs for the house, like those little plugins for your bathroom for the festive holidays. Like right after she had the baby, she was making those posts about how they didn't have any money to even afford formula, and I wonder why. Spending their money on frivolous stuff. Christmas plugins in the bathroom. Oh, and she has an R2-D2 like crock pot or something. You know how expensive that was? And her like Star Wars Legos that she has setting up. That shit's expensive. What do you need that for? I don't even buy that for my kid. I guess she makes a face because he says, what's wrong? And they both say at the same time, the baby's kicking. Oh, So if he says something's wrong, then she must have made a strained face or an upset face or something like that. So it hurts when the baby kicks. That's concerning. That's not normal. Chronic victimhood. She always has some sort of ailment. It reminds me of the episode where she was talking about how her mom said when she was pregnant with Gypsy, it felt like an alien inside her body. Gypsy's mimicking that. Gypsy says, I know what my dad's going to get you for Christmas. He goes, well, don't tell me. She's like, I'm not going to tell you, but I just want you to know that I know. He's like, okay. And he starts, they're talking about what they're going to get people for Christmas, and he's like twirling scissors on his fingers. She says her dad wants a duck call, and he says he's going to get Mia a makeup palette, but he doesn't know what to get Christy or Gigi. And she's like, they really like knickknacks. And somebody else who covered this show said it was weird that she said to get them knickknacks. Like, what kind of gift is that? I'm like, have you seen Christy's house? If you pay attention, this whole house is cluttered with knickknacks. That's all the house is knickknacks and picture frames. Moving animated picture frames covering the walls, pumpkins everywhere, Christmas decor everywhere. She has a whole shelf outside on their patio where they sit to smoke cigarettes and shit of just lighthouses, statues of lighthouses, anchors, nautical knickknacks. She has categorized knickknacks. Okay? I've got who's its and what's its galore. You want thingamabobs? Bitch got 50. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. I wanna be not where Chrissy is. Makes sense that she says Gigi would want knickknacks because it must run in the family. It's Christy's mom. He says when everyone comes over, he's gonna make beef Wellington. She's like, what's that? It's a Gordon Ramsay dish. She doesn't know what Gordon Ramsay is. She has no idea what that is. She probably thinks that's a what, not a who. It's like filet mignon wrapped in a pastry. It's really hard to make from what I understand, and I'm surprised that he's gonna just try and make this. He must have experience in the kitchen. She's like, what can I make? What can I make? You can shadow me in the kitchen, and I can teach you how to make stuff. He's like, bitch, you ain't fucking up my dinner. Hell to the no. Your mother, and she was horrible. Why would you want to continue a tradition she had with you with your child? Gypsy, are you watching? Please answer that. I'm curious. Genuinely curious. Next, we go to Lafayette, and we see Mia, I think, for the first time since the baby shower. Mia's getting some graduation pictures done. She's graduating from nursing school, and Christy and her sister Kathy are there to watch her, get her pictures taken. There's a voiceover, and Christy's saying that Mia is the child she never had to worry about because she always made the right decisions. And I'm curious, do they have another sibling? The way they talk, you would never think that there's another sibling involved, but for some reason I always thought Gypsy had a brother. And in the last episode, whenever she was doing her interview with Andy Cohen, they had so many stockings hanging there. So these are things I should look up, but I never do. Mia's getting her pictures done, and she stumbles on her heel a little bit. And Christy's like, baby, I'll catch you. And she's like, you're pretty far. I love how Mia always calls her out. And she's like, I'll run. She's also like, Mom, move. For the photographer when she's trying to get a picture, she's like, I know. I'm here for it. Christy also says in the voiceover that Gypsy and Mia's futures are very bright, and I'm feeling like Gypsy's is getting pretty bleak. Next, we see Gypsy, and she's getting her makeup done because she's about to have a photo shoot too. And this whole show is not chronological, so I have no idea when this actually happened, but production made it look like Gypsy's copying her and did it after her or at the same time. I don't know. But Christy only went to Mia's. So were they at the same time? The makeup artist puts this really long-haired wig on Gypsy. Ken's like, wow, you're red carpet ready. It's incredible. He's cheesing hard. He asks if that's the length she wants to grow it out to. She's like, yes. He goes, oh, I love it. Grody. So what do you think of her hair now, Ken? She chopped it all off. It's going to take a long time to grow back. Production asked her why she's wearing a wig, and she's like, well, my hair is short, and I didn't like any of the styles that it would be, so this is for the photo shoot. I'm used to synthetic wigs from when I didn't have hair, but this is different. Well, to me, the only difference is that you have hair now, and you're older. What is so different about it? I'm confused as to why that is emphasized. When I first watched this, I guess I assumed that the wig was the makeup artist because she applied it for her. That's literally why I thought that that was the makeup artist's wig that she was like gonna wear just for the shoot. I don't know. But then she thanks the woman for putting it on her because she would never been able to figure out how to put it on. So she just asked this woman to put her wig on for her. I don't know why I think that's so funny. I think that's weird. Isn't that personal? Okay. They show Gypsy at the photo shoot and she's alone. Ken didn't even go with her. She didn't have Christy there. She's getting her pictures done, and there's a voiceover of her talking about all her efforts right now are going into being a mom. All eyes are on her and the misjudgment that she has to prove something. And I'm gonna prove that I'm gonna be a better mom than my mom was. And I think to a lot of us in the true crime community, that is debatable. That your mom was a bad mom. They show Gypsy also when she's getting her pictures taken kind of like stumble, and there's no one there to say, "I'll catch you if you fall, baby." Only Mia did. I just thought that was interesting that they put that in there. Production adds everything for a reason. And I will say that I think Gypsy's photos probably turned out really pretty. She was at this like big like plantation home or something, but it was outside and in a garden. I don't know, it looked nice. I didn't get maternity photos done because I think they're silly, but that's just me. Teach their own, you know? Next, we're at Ken's house, and the camera pans over real quick two things that stand out to me immediately. Okay. The first one is on the wall. They show their stockings. K for Ken, G for Gypsy, whereas A for Aurora, P for frickin' Parker. I don't know about you, but when I had a dog, I had a stocking for my dog, and both my kids had a stocking when they were in my belly. I wasn't even due until March and July. It makes me melt like a popsicle on the 4th of July.
It makes me melt like a popsicle on the 4th of July.
And then they're moving on to the island where Ken is starting to prep some food to cook, and they have 2 nutcrackers, one on each side of the island. And Gypsy doesn't like nutcrackers because they freak her out. They're really creepy ones too, and they're wearing black. I like them. Ken's going over all the foods he's going to make for this Christmas dinner, and it actually sounds amazing. He's shredding up all these cheeses, and he's talking about how Gypsy's going to an ultrasound that he's not allowed to go to because it's going to be pretty invasive. I don't understand that because in the first episode, you went to her transvaginal ultrasound where they probed her. You know what I'm talking about? That sounds pretty invasive. So why didn't you go to this one? Suspicious. We'll get to it. Then they show at the bottom of the screen, 23 minutes later, Ken's on his phone. He's trying to call Gypsy and she's not picking up. So then he shows the text that's going on. She's 3 centimeters dilated. They can't have the Christmas party anymore. She's going to the hospital. He's like, I don't know if it's go time or not. And production asks him how far along she is. And he says she's 2 days shy of 35 weeks. So it's a little early. She calls him back, and I notice that on his phone it says, "My Rose." Ew. She asks him to get her bag because she might have to stay overnight. And she's 3 centimeters dilated, and they're giving her 2 steroid shots to help her lungs or something. Aurora's lungs. And that's what's going on. It's like, okay, is this bad news? And she's like, no, not necessarily. We would have liked to wait 2 more weeks, and then the doctor pipes in and says we just don't want her to dilate anymore. They're going to monitor her at the hospital. They get off the phone, and he's like frantic. He starts running around looking for this bag, and he can't find the goddamn bag. He's going to lose his marbles. For God's sake, why won't she answer? He finds a bag, and he goes to get in the car to leave, and the cameraman that's riding with them is like, hey, mate, drive safely. You don't need to get there 2 minutes earlier. Nothing's going to change that. He's scared. The cameraman is scared because this guy drives like a crazy person. I don't blame him.
Ridiculous piece of
The way he shook the gas pump nozzle. He was so frustrated. He calls his mom on the way to tell her what's going on. She's like, well, I've known people to be 3 centimeters dilated for a while. And it reminded me with my oldest, I went into my last appointment before my due date, and she told me I was 3 centimeters dilated, but she sent me on my way to go home, and I went out to eat, and then I started having contractions not because I was 3 centimeters dilated, because she swiped something whenever they do the invasive appointment because they're checking in there. because you're so close to your due date. And they did something that put me into labor. So, but they sent me home 3 centimeters dilated, okay? So why are they sending her to the hospital and giving her steroid shots to help the baby's lungs develop? Then on screen they say it's been 2 hours later, and they have a couple homemade videos that they've made inside the hospital room. Gypsy's recording Ken. She's like, it's Ken trying to get comfortable. Ken's recording her while she's sitting on the bed. He's like, it's been 2.5 hours and we're still here. It's 2:30. How are you feeling? She's like, I'm feeling really uncomfortable in this bed. But other than that, I'm good. Show Ken outside on the phone with Mia, telling her that, everything's going okay. She was having contractions. So that's news to me. She was having contractions. And if they increase, then worst case scenario, they have to stay overnight. But if they leave by 4 o'clock, then it's still on. I want everyone to come over for Christmas dinner. They show another homemade video of Gypsy saying she really wants to get out of there now. And they show Ken outside giving production an update. He's really excited to go home and cook that beef welly. Can't go to waste. He needs to sort out his priorities. My mood ring is changing colors. He didn't even carry her bag to the car. They get to go and finally leave at 4:50. He asks how she's feeling. She's like, I'm really tired. He's like, okay, well, we're going home. You can take a nap. You ready to go home? Yeah. Have some Christmas dinner. A baby voice. And then give air kisses to one another. Because she can't do kissing while driving. You cannot do that. According to season 1 and Ryan. They get home and Ken starts cooking dinner. He's like, I'm right back where I started. I'm cutting these shallots. And it says it's 5:36 p.m. They've been adding timestamps. And I think they do this to show us how late he was at cooking dinner. He makes everyone wait on it. Gypsy looks absolutely dead on the couch. And then he hollers out, hey, Parker. And she's like she was about to pass out. Apparently Parker got and found his Christmas toy. And he's like, oh, that's okay, buddy. That's fine. Because he loves his dog. And I feel like if this was like a switched scenario or this was Gypsy and her dog, I feel like that would not be the same reaction. I don't know the timing because I don't put a timestamp when Rod and Mia show up. But it's not long. It's like right after the little Parker incident. But Ken's no longer in the living room. He's now in the kitchen. So there is a time jump. But Rod and Mia are there now. I would assume they show up, around 6 o'clock. They ask how Gypsy is. They say he's like, she needs to be on bed rest. Meanwhile, she's just right over here in the living room. So she could answer herself, really, if they just looked to their left and asked her. And when Mia first walks in, she's got this look on her face like she's looking around at everything on the countertop like all the uncooked food, like nothing's ready right now and we just got here. She goes to sit down with Gypsy. She finally sees her back there in the corner, I guess hidden because I couldn't see her before. There was a tree there, wasn't there? Mia asks if Rod remembers if Gypsy was premature. He doesn't remember anything of her pregnancy and childhood, so how would he remember? He's like, I don't remember her being the NICU. He is a drunkard. Rod goes over to ask if he's ever made this before, and Ken's literally cutting potatoes. They're there. The people you are cooking for are there, and you haven't even cooked you're cutting potatoes. Oh my God. He's like, no, this is my first time making it, so I hope it comes out good, and if it doesn't, just lie to me. They can't take constructive criticism. They can't take constructive criticism. They really are meant for each other. Neither of them can. They can't hear anything negative about them. It's really unhealthy if it's to the point you want people to literally lie to you. Then Christy and Gigi show up, and they don't show a timestamp for this either. But I would assume not much time has passed when people start showing up because there's probably a set time that they were supposed to show up to eat dinner, right? And my bet is on that Christy and Gigi were late from the time they're supposed to be there, but clearly Ken's the one that's late. Christy asks how Gypsy is, and she's like, I'm tired, and I was uncomfortable from being in that bed the whole time. There was no TV there. This statement here is where my theory formed, because the whole episode, I'm like, this is suspicious. This is suspicious. What is going on here? And then, boom, bombshell in Barry's brain. Why was Ken not allowed to go to an invasive appointment when he's been to an invasive ultrasound before? My theory, in my opinion, is that Gypsy is mad at Ken for something, I don't know, and she wants to ruin his day. He's all excited to make this Christmas dinner for everybody, and it's all his attention's going into that. So she wants to ruin it. She starts it out by saying he can't come to the super invasive appointment because she's going to go to the super invasive appointment and lie about symptoms. Are you following me here? Okay, because she had contractions and she's 3 centimeters dilated. That's why they sent her to the hospital. So I think there was a scenario that happened. That's why they gave her the steroid shot for the lungs developing. There was something with the heartbeat. I don't know what that was about. But I truly believe that she said something happened that morning and then she was having contractions, so they sent her to the hospital to monitor her. And she sent in the text, "We can't do Christmas dinner. I'm going to the hospital." But then she gets to the hospital and she sits in the bed and it's uncomfortable and there's not even a TV. She's like, "I can't stay here all night. I can't fake this anymore. Can't do this pretend false labor. I'll just go home." That's my theory and I'm sticking to it. Rod comes over to sit next to her and asks if she's still having contractions. She's like, "No, they've subsided." And he starts pretending to have one. Breathing really heavy, and she makes a face. She's like, "It's not that serious." She's all irritated. It's too much for her. Faking contractions, faking symptoms. Sounds familiar. I think we should all be concerned. She hasn't changed. Her getting all irritated with Rod, and she's in a bad mood. She's on the couch, like dead to the world before everybody shows up. She turned it on when they got there, but still. I don't blame her. She's pregnant. She spent most of her day at a doctor's appointment in the hospital in an uncomfortable chair, not comfortable at all. And here she is having to entertain for people. I would be miserable. I would hate my life right now. We see the next timestamp on screen. Mia's talking to Rod in the kitchen. He's got a red wine reduction on the stove, and it's 9:52. He started at 5:36. It's been hours. And I really think that they've been waiting for hours. I typed out more of this conversation. I really don't give a shit. Mia just talks to Ken a little bit, asks how he's feeling, and they talk about parenthood. And she's like, "Just so you know, you can always come to me. Just because I'm her sister doesn't, one thing you know about me." He's like, "Oh yeah, I know. You'll say it how it is." Finally, timestamp says 10:11, and Ken's like, "It's go time. It's time to eat." Rod's all ready. He's motherfucker starving. And I think he's drunk at this point. And they pull it out and Ken asks if it's too big and Rod's like, "Yeah." Can't even give him a compliment. They got the table all set up nice. Ken on one end, Gypsy on the other, and he's cutting his beef Wellington, hosting, beaming. He's loving every second of it. Air of superiority. We're having a dinner party. Everyone's complimenting his meal. Chrissy said he outdid himself. Gypsy says it's beautiful. Rod says this is the best pigs in a blanket I've ever had. "You mean like cow in a blanket?" Ken says. "You got everything, sweets." As it shows them eating, there's a voiceover of Gypsy talking about how she's always been indifferent about Christmas. She says she didn't have the family element, which is how you really appreciate Christmas and what it's all about. "We didn't spend it with anyone. I didn't have some big fancy dinner. We just watched a movie and opened 2 gifts. Just 2. So I had Christmas. I just didn't have a typical Christmas. Just some twinkling lights and decorations. It's meaningless. To some people who don't have a big family, that's all they have." Like, what? She's so annoying, guys. Like, I cannot with her. It's rude at this point. Like, that's rude. Because some people don't have big families. I unfortunately did, and I had to go and hang out with them all. I don't like being around people, okay? And I have a massive family. My dad's side's Irish. He's one of 5. They do a gift exchange. Ken got Rod a new hunting jacket and the duck call that he wanted. He starts blowing into the duck call. He's like, "Okay, yeah, it works." Then there's a voiceover of Gypsy, and she's like, "This Christmas is way different than last Christmas." And then they show a flashback of Ryan giving Gypsy her Louis Vuitton jacket, and Ken's giving Rod a chainsaw. Ken went all out for Rod. Damn, got him 3 things that he's like loves. He really loved the chainsaw, especially. Yeah, dude. Someone got Ken a massive frying pan, which he's like, "This is perfect for the house." And he loves cooking, so it actually is perfect for him. And Rod goes, "Look at that, Gypsy. You can beat the shit out of him with it." What the? Rod is wasted. I can't believe he just said that. Rod opened something and he thought it was something else, and they're like, it's bath bombs. He's like, oh, you got me good, girl. And then hugs Gypsy and says, thank you for it. So Ken got Rod hunting stuff and a chainsaw, and Gypsy got him bath bombs. So let me lay it out for you really quick how this gift exchange just went down in a Cliff Notes. There's 6 people here, and you think everybody's getting gifts, right? We only see 2 people open gifts. Rod and Ken, the only men. Rod gets all these cool and thoughtful gifts from Ken. Ken gets a frying pan, which he loves. Rod says, oh, look, Gypsy, a weapon that you can beat over your boyfriend's head. And then Rod proceeds to open a gift from his daughter, and it's something he thought he liked, and it turns out it's not anything he thought it was, and it's actually bath bombs. But then he still says, thank you, daughter, and hugs her. Oh, and we get to see Gypsy open a gift from Ryan, her old Louis Vuittons. That's all we saw of that gift exchange. Then we see Gypsy, and she's rotting on the couch. Hello, fellow rotter. You're the sister, though. Couch is different than a bed. Definitely a bed person. She calls Mia and asks what she's doing, and she's getting ready for her graduation, her pinning ceremony, because she gets her nursing's pin, her nurse's pin. She says she wishes she could come, but Mia understands she's just got to cook that nugget for a little longer. And I remember hearing that Gypsy was asked to not go because of the backlash she would get while there or something like that. But I totally understand why she's not going, because she says, I don't want her driving for 2 hours in the car, and it makes total sense with Ken driving. That's valid. I would be terrified too. She'd go into labor in the car, 100%. Production asked Christy, what if in an hour you get a phone call from Gypsy that she's going into labor? She goes, I would watch Mia get pinned and then we would all haul ass. Rod's talking to production. He thinks about how far Mia has come and how far Gypsy has come, and it's 2 different parallels, but it's different than him because he didn't go past 10th grade. Mia's going to be a nurse, and maybe her kid will be a doctor. And then he says that a few days ago, Gypsy found out she's a few centimeters dilated. So what is the timeline here? I know that they did not have their Christmas dinner on Christmas because she had a doctor's appointment that day, but how close to Christmas is this pinning ceremony? And then her baby's due on the 28th. What is happening? I hate this. I hate it. I hate the order of everything. It drives me crazy. Rod says the baby could come any day now, but we've been tied up with Mia's graduation that's been planned, and Gypsy has a, predetermined date. Those might throw a wrench in things, and I don't want to think about it. Don't want a phone call from Gypsy or Ken saying they're going into labor. I don't want to think about what I gotta do. I just hope it doesn't happen the day she graduates. It would be terrible. Wow, isn't that a little extreme? They act like they're they're gonna have to choose between their children. It's not the end of the world. You can do both. And saying it would be terrible if she went into labor is also an awful thing to say, kind of. Or am I reading that wrong? She's so naggy. It would be awful to be in a relationship with her. Maybe that's why Rod likes his job so much on the books. He's gone for 28 days at a time. They have some footage of in the graduation. They have Gypsy on a FaceTime. They show Rod and Christy and Mia's boyfriend go out to eat. They're cheersing, and he gives her a gift. He wrote her a letter. It was really sweet. They have a really sweet father-daughter relationship, actually. I bet Gypsy's so jealous because their relationships are so different. How he is with Mia versus how awkward he is with Gypsy. And when you see Mia, the way she looks at her dad, she loves her daddy so much. We see Rod and Christy outside talking to production, how they're so grateful that they didn't call. He's like, fingers crossed. We still got our fingers crossed it doesn't happen. I guess they got their wish, because next we see them at Ken's house, and Ken's cooking a Nor pasta side for Gypsy, and Gypsy's on the phone with her attorney talking about how now they're on a time crunch that the baby can be due any day. She changed her name back to Blanchard so they could have Ryan come up to the hospital the day of, sign the affidavit that says he's not the father, and she could be born a Blanchard. So she's like, how do we communicate asking that of him, basically? Did you see the change in her face? From smile to when she's pregnant and tired, she cannot put on the acting for long. Ken brings her food. She's like, it's fabulous. And she says that her lawyer is going to email Ryan's attorney right now. Ken's like, I've already embraced the fact that we're not going to get our way. It's unfortunate, but that's how it is. Well, maybe his lawyer can communicate the benefits. Ryan would have to come down the day of, and that would suck for him, but because then what are the benefits, Gypsy? What is beneficial for him out of this, besides not having to be associated with your offspring? She's finishing up eating while he goes back to the household chores, and you hear a voiceover of Gypsy saying, like, I don't know what Ryan's gonna do, because I would have thought he wanted to see me the day of the divorce, but he didn't, so I was shocked by that. So she doesn't know the man, apparently. I don't even know him. She says she still has a close relationship with his mom, so she might message him. Might message her. We see Ryan. We haven't seen Ryan in a minute. He's driving over to his mom's house with Pixie, talking about, what Gypsy's asking of him. He's like, why do I gotta fix it? This is her problem. Good for you, Ryan. Good for you. And Gypsy's been texting my mother and made her confidant. Kind of like how Ken did to Christy. You know what I'm talking about? Ryan says that he only gets any of his information from his mom. Him and his mom are talking. I only get the information from you. And she says that Gypsy called her my joy. He's like, I don't like that. To production says, I thought she loved my child. I really believed it. He has a soft heart and this broke him. And I'm still struggling with it. Production said, well, you lost a daughter-in-law. You welcomed her into your family. And she starts crying. It's honestly messed up that Gypsy thinks that they're close after seeing his mom talk like this. Production asked him if he's tempted to see Gypsy. He's like, that's no small trip. It's 3.5 hours. Your baby daddy and your family's gonna be there. I'm to sign this and not see you knowing how I feel about you. It's not fair. I shouldn't have to put my feelings on the shelf to help your boyfriend. He says he hasn't given her an answer because he's like, I told her I would do anything for her, but I just can't do this. He sounds like he's really fighting with actually going to do it just so he could see her. They put a date at the bottom of the screen. It's December 28th. And Gypsy's at the hospital. She's saying it's 3 a.m., but at 1:15 in the morning, her water half broke. She sneezed and she felt a gush of water. Fluid. She said fluid. And so I came to the hospital. And they're about to break the rest of her water. She says her contractions are now 2 minutes apart. It's like videos. We get a new update every so often with what's going on with her. She says at first she didn't feel the contractions, but now she's starting to feel them. But you just recently had contractions, so you should know what they feel like, right? You were having contractions on your Christmas dinner day. She says Ken and Rod are on their way, and she's just trying to stay calm. The contractions anymore. And then by 4:30 a.m., the homemade videos include Ken. He's there now. Ken's talking to production. He's like, he got the call at 1:30. She sneezed, and it's go time. I didn't even pack a bag. I just left. Like, he didn't even have a bag ready for this whole time. He's known that she could have a baby any day. Nothing. Rod was on the boat and said he got the text that Mama Sharon brought her in. So why was she home alone when she could just pop any day? What's up with that, guys? She was home alone, went into labor, and Mama Sharon had to take her. Because Christy wasn't there, Rod was on the boat, Ken's at home. Where was Christy? Where was Christy? Can someone tell me where the Christy made it there by the time she's 10 centimeters dilated and they're getting ready to push. That's where the end comes of the episode. December 28th is the anniversary of her getting out of prison. It's been 1 year. All right, so just think about that for a second. At 1:15 a.m., she sneezed and went into labor. And I brought it up in my last episode that I wonder if she does these things on purpose. This is my opinion, my theory, for entertainment purposes only. What if she does these things on purpose? What if she forced herself to possibly go into labor early and it was maybe that was it. Maybe she wasn't mad at Ken. She was just trying to cause a scene, have a reason to go into labor early because she wanted to go into labor on December 28th. I don't know. I don't know if someone would do that, but crazy people are crazy people, so who knows? And she's obsessed with the date thing. Anyway, it's a theory, my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. If you're still here, thank you. Appreciate every last one of you, because without you, I wouldn't be growing my channel and I wouldn't even be making videos without someone to watch. Thank you. I'm on a road to 1K, so when I get 1,000 subscribers, I'll stop asking you to subscribe so much. But I get about 1,000 of you to watch, so if every single one of you could subscribe, I'd be there. If you like this video, maybe you could like it. I've been getting a lot of requests in my comments on TikTok and on YouTube, so I've got a good lineup coming for you guys because we're almost done with Gypsy Rose Season 2. Don't worry, we're doing Season 1. I didn't forget. I do want to get to some true crime stuff, not so much just reality TV and documentaries. They say that this show is a documentary, but it's not. This is reality TV to me. But before I wanted to start this YouTube channel, I have forever wanted a true crime podcast where I could do like investigative work on unsolved cases and potentially solve a case or something. And I wanted to get big enough to be able to start a foundation because I learned that, so when someone passes from homicide or suicide, nobody cleans that up. Like, they come in and investigate, but then they almost create an even bigger mess. They just take the body and then dusting from all the fingerprints, and they rip open mattresses to look for evidence. So you then have to pay a cleaning company to come in and clean it up, and it's very, very expensive. So I've heard horrific stories of people who have to clean their family members' like brain matter off of the floor because they can't afford someone to clean it. I want to start a foundation that will provide a service for people who can't afford it. They will get that service. F that. Nobody should have to pay for that ever. That is so messed up to me. I always thought that that's taken care of, like the CSI or forensic cleanup crew or something. I don't know. I thought there was somebody. I didn't know that. Anyway, I was about to give you the name of my true crime podcast that I want to have, but I don't want anybody to take it because it's perfect. Anyway, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. If you didn't get out of bed, that's okay. Neither did I. That's okay. I was here recording for you in my lovely bed.